Invite viewers to post their location and local time. Heat waves curl over the Fort Hawkins parade ground like invisible fists pressing down on the earth. The kind of Texas afternoon where even the lizards look like they've given up on life. A dust-coated transport grinds to a halt, and Lieutenant Mackenzie Reynolds swings down, duffel on her shoulder, eyes scanning the sprawl with the cool detachment of someone who's walked into worse places, though not many. Gravel crunches under her boots, and the formation of soldiers mid-drill slows just enough to notice she's the only woman here, 180 pairs of eyes doing the silent math of odds and endurance. Somebody mutters about diversity points. Another bets she won't last a week. The rest pretend to stretch while watching her walk past without a flinch. She isn't here for friends, and she's definitely not here to lose. Inside the command building, Colonel Hargrove barely glances at her file before reminding her this isn't basic training. He snaps her assignment closed with the warmth of a tax audit. No handshake, no welcome. Later, her barracks at the far end of the row feel more exile than oversight. Bare walls, a dented locker, one faded poster. She unpacks a few uniforms, a battered copy of The Art of War, and a framed photo of herself with her father, both in dress uniform, his colonel's eagles gleaming, his smile thin but proud. Beneath her shoulder blade, the tattoo she's never explained seems to pulse, but that's between her and the past. Morning comes at 0430, and by mile 4 of the run, she's already overtaken half the men, drawing a squint from Sergeant Miller, the brick wall training lead. On the range, her shots land center mass so consistently the scorekeepers stop pretending to be bored. Gear drills. She strips and reassembles her rifle faster than the instructors, which makes Miller's jaw tighten. Historians still argue whether such moments breed grudging respect or just deeper resentment in this case. It's both. By Friday, Hargrove calls a surprise inspection, lining the unit up in the oven heat afternoon. When he orders her to remove her blouse under the guise of checking regulations, the yard goes silent. She unbuttons slowly, folds the blouse over her arm, stands in her undershirt with her chin high. That's when he sees it black ink eagle diving with 3 arrows and a ring of numbers. The whispers hit like a shockwave, the mark of Nighthawk. Hargrove freezes, his face paling just enough for those in the back to notice. It's not a legend after all. The change is subtle at first, fewer smirks, more sidelong glances, but respect trickles in like groundwater after a long drought. Still, Hargrove keeps her at arm's length. The man's got the posture of a coat rack and about as much inclination to bend. Then Master Sergeant Thompson, who's older than most Cold War jokes, quietly rolls up his sleeve in front of the whole unit to reveal the same eagle tattoo, faded by decades, but unmistakable. Last time I saw that was 93, Mogadishu, he says, and even Miller stops breathing for a beat. Quirky tidbit. Mogadishu rations once included canned spaghetti, which some swore could deflect shrapnel. Historians still argue whether that was gallows humor or bad logistics. But legends draw predators, and word of her tattoo travels faster than a viral cat video. The base gets a new visitor, Marcus Wells, journalist, too interested in operations that never happened. Thompson spots the signs wrong questions, right vocabulary, and warns Mac he's no reporter. He's a spook, and worse, he's not working alone. The name Alexander Kovac surfaces, a Serbian intelligence ghost with a personal vendetta that smells of old blood and burned bridges. Turns out Kovac was in Yugoslavia's joint training program back in the 80s, taught by none other than a young Major Hargrove, back when his hair still had ambitions. In between drilling her company into the tightest unit on base, Mac helps Hargrove and Thompson crack open a sealed wing of the admin building, dust and 1972 calendars intact. Behind a modern lock, they find an archive linking Nighthawk to even older black unit Shadowhunters, Silent Step. Legacy, all connected by people as much as missions. But someone's been in there recently, leaving a sat phone and fresh surveillance notes. When listening devices start turning up everywhere from the officer's mess to Hargrove's office, Mac proposes bait, a midnight briefing on Nighthawk secrets. The intruders bite 3 men in tactical gear. One of them wells, but it's a feint. Explosions rock the old admin wing. The real goal is the archive, She goes in against orders, smoke and heat closing around her, and hauls both the stolen files and an unconscious Merc out through a forgotten maintenance corridor. It's proof Kovac is escalating, moving from retired operators to targeting the next generation of people. The plan to end it takes shape in the Appalachians, an abandoned FEMA facility dressed up as a private security retreat. Charlie Company joins her trainees from Fort Liberty, bait in a trap meant to look temptingly sloppy. Hargrove insists on coming. Montgomery grumbles, but agrees, keeping him in the command center as necessary bait. At first, the infiltrators probe the perimeter with textbook patience, then suddenly push in hard. The pattern's too confident. Mac orders an authentication shift, realizes there's a leak. She's right, a junior comms officer's been feeding Kovac positions. She slips out alone through a maintenance tunnel, climbing toward a ridge that commands the best view. There's Kovac, lean and gray now, orchestrating the assault beside a sleek comms array. Their standoff cuts deeper than bullets. He talks about exposing the Shadow War system. She counters with what Nighthawk actually died: extractions, preventing atrocities, missions that saved more than they destroyed. She shows him her eagle tattoo, then the older Shadow Hunter's coin. His eyes flicker at the memory of who he once was, trained by Hargrove before cynicism took root. It's almost enough, but a gunman in the trees forces the moment Miller drops him. Kovac takes a shoulder wound, the automated transmission ticking down. She presses him, not with threats, but with the truth that his crusade will hurt the wrong people. At the last minute, he gives her the code, 61983, the year he and Hargrove trained. Transmission canceled, his network later dismantled. By dawn, Kovac's men are in custody, the leak contained, and both units are swapping lessons instead of side-eye. 6 months later, under a dusky Fort Liberty sky, Macnow Major Reynolds hands 20 minted coins to soldiers who've earned their place in the unnamed lineage. She ends the quiet ceremony at a simple stone marker. For those who served in silence, your shadows will never fade. Standing there, she feels the weight of legacy not as a burden, but as a choice renewed each day to serve where light can't reach, and to lead others to do the same. The mountains soften in the distance, their outlines blurring into the slow lavender of evening, and the air takes on that cool weight that makes every breath feel like it should be saved. She walks back along the gravel path, boots scuffing quietly, the new oak leaves whispering overhead in a language older than any uniform. Somewhere behind her, laughter ripples from the barracks, the kind that says a long day ended well, and even in the shadows there's space for warmth. She keeps one hand in her pocket, feeling the 2 coins shift against her palm, the Nighthawk eagle and the older Shadow Hunter's emblem metal cool and steady, anchoring her in a way no rank ever could. Each step toward the training field feels deliberate, as if she's stitching herself back into this place she's chosen, where purpose outweighs comfort, and the reward is knowing the next generation won't have to start from nothing. Out on the range, the last traces of sun catch on the targets and the wires, turning them briefly to gold before fading into silver. Her trainees move like shadows between the obstacles, voices low, movement certain. It's not perfection she's after, it never weighs. It's that quiet click when a team finally trusts itself, when the rhythm holds even if she isn't there to call the pace. By the time she reaches the edge of the field, the first stars are out. She tilts her head up, just enough to see them scatter across the sky like distant signal flares, reminders that there's always more horizon than one life can cover. The night will hold. The watch will continue. And somewhere, silent above them all, the eagle keeps its course.